Before I'm going to start about talking about support, I want to share one of GitHub's traditions with all of you. As a 250 people strong company where 75% of the people work remotely, it's kind of important to have strong traditions in order to create strong bonds between people. And one of these traditions is called toasts. And every time we release something major, like a big feature on github.com, or we release a new product, we take a picture from ourselves, congratulating the team on the ship. Here are some examples. There we go. That is Maddox pointing at you. That is John Noonemaker drinking stuff. That is Mike McQuaid nerding full out. He's a Scotsman. That is, I don't know who that is, but he's creepy. Some people try to disguise themselves. That's Technorini in front of the white wall in Games of Thrones. That's our training team in front of the blue screen. That's Lee Riley in the plane. That's someone else I don't know. Phil playing his kid's trumpet. That's our government agent sitting in Washington. That's our operations team building servers into racks at Carpathia. That's Brian Doll, our marketing chief. Pretty much, I think he's on vacation at that time. Tech Up, hard at work. That's Holman playing the guitar. Yeah, and that's Tom, one of the founders. So, and what I would like you to do is, I didn't take a photo yet. And what I would like you to do is stand up and take a photo with me. So basically just to raise your hand and toast to the team, to the Atom team for the chip for the Atom editor. I would really great if you all could raise yourselves. Perfect. Hooray. Smile. Awesome. Once more. One more. Stand up again. Awesome. Thank you guys, and thank you folks. Before I'm going to start about support, just let me say that I just mentioned that we've shipped Atom, a new editor, which is based on web technologies, and thus it's easily extensible. So you might be interested in trying that out. You can find more about it on atom.io, and it's currently by invitation only. So if you need an invite, just round robin us at mike@github.com or jdennis@github.com. James Dennis is the other GitHubber who joined me on this trip. So basically just send us an email and we'll get you hooked up with an invite. Let's get started. So I think I've said this before, but I'm Mike from GitHub. I work on technical support for the enterprise product, and that ranges from giving Git workflow advice over debugging Git repository corruptions or to issues with the underlying Linux operating system. I would like to say thank you first for having me here. I really appreciate the invite, and I hope the talk today will be worth your time. When I started drafting that talk, I asked myself a simple question. Why should everyone help out with support from time to time on a regular basis? And of course, by the end of the talk, we will have found some answers to that will hopefully be interesting for you. Before we dive into support, let me tell you also a few things about GitHub. GitHub is a hosting company for software development projects. That's what the Wikipedia says. Our core products are GitHub.com and GitHub Enterprise. GitHub Enterprise is the on-premise version of GitHub.com, so that you can put GitHub essentially in your company's internal network. And we're, of course, also a little more than just a hosting company. We offer Git training worldwide or on-site, online or on-site. We sponsor events or host drink or tea ups to connect with local communities. We have our very own YouTube channel teaching you basically all things Git. And we speak on conferences about how we run things. Our mission is to make it easier to work together than to work alone. That's essentially what drives the entire company. All right, here's a disclaimer. I've personally have always been a die-hard operations guy, spending most of my time on automating infrastructure or making things faster from the operating system's point of view. And when I've told my coworkers about 1.5 years ago at my former company that I'm going to accept a support gig, they just had one big giant question: why? Here's why. So support as a job is much older than any other job in the computer business. It's as old as humans sell stuff to each other. Remember those conversations you've had with the cave troll next to you? Yo dog, that hand axe you've sold me 2 days ago literally just broke on first usage. Make me a new one. A couple of 100,000 years later, things became more interesting when we opened up stores for the very first time. You know, those general goods stores where you were able to buy almost anything, the ones that don't exist anymore. You can still find them in Skyrim, though, or pretty much any other computer role-playing game out there. However, the thing about stores was that you still had to go back to the shop to get your broken tool fixed, right? So in 1876, the telephone got invented. In 1894, the switchboard. And that brought things to a whole new level when it comes to support. The adoption rate of the telephone in the 20th century made it a lot easier to receive and provide support on the phone. In the 1960s, we have sort of industrialized phone support and invented the call center. We have put people into cubicles and let them talk to customers on the phone all day long. I love how they turned on all the screens in that room. And did you notice that no one seems to be working there? It's just a ridiculous work environment, I have to say. Anyhow, this picture is pretty much one of the greatest examples for why many people think that working in support is an entry-level job or generally a bad idea, and this just has to end. I'm super serious. This just has to end. And mainly the reason is because working in support is neither of those, neither an entry-level job nor a bad idea. Support is not like working on an assembly line and performing the steps over and over again all day long. It is more like firefighting with a small and highly trained team eager to learn new things when required and enabling the user to get back to work again. I feel great now. So, how do we run support at GitHub? We have 26 people sitting all over the world in all major time zones providing email support only. And we separate between support for GitHub.com and support for enterprise, not because it makes the most sense, but mainly due to historical reasons. The support team for .com provides support for GitHub.com and all of our native clients. That means technical support for Git repositories or the API, for instance, but also account support or incident management in case when things went horribly wrong. The enterprise team, on the other hand, takes care of GitHub Enterprise only, and that's mainly due to the product's complexity. The enterprise support team also has to take over on-call shifts because we allow our users to escalate tickets if needed. So, like when there's a Git repository that got corrupted for some reason, or a VM that doesn't boot up anymore, they can then escalate these issues and we get back to them within 30 minutes. Both teams have in common that we commit to the various code bases at GitHub on a regular basis. So it's pretty much a development job. For instance, if there's a bug we can fix by ourselves, we just file that as an issue, squash the bug, issue a pull request, ask for a review, and get it merged into master. If there's time, we will also hack on side projects together with other developers, like some internal thing or another enterprise feature. That's also part of our job. In the future, we would like to see both teams to collaborate a bit more. And presumably one day in the not too distant future, we're going to merge ourselves in a single team. On certain occasions, like popular holidays, when most people want to spend time with their loved ones, or for our annual internal conference, for instance, the support team can lit the bad signal. And that is sort of like the, oh, please help button that people can push, and that'll result in all the people at GitHub helping out with support. Then it's not just the support team answering tickets anymore. It is everybody at GitHub, allowing the support people to take part in the company's cultural activities without stopping to make our users happy, because support just never stops. It doesn't matter at all whether it's Independence Day, New Year's Eve, or your birthday. People won't stop asking questions. At GitHub, we run support with a couple core principles in mind.
Round one, fight!
It's actually the opposite. The first rule is never get in a fight because it's not worth it. Sometimes people are angry for whatever reason, and getting into a fight with them is not going to help anybody. Number two is don't insult your users. Essentially, never bite the hand that feeds you. This goes along with the fact that we also don't make fun of our user base. No matter how crazy people's questions are, our internal communication about these issues happen on such a professional level that I wouldn't be afraid giving our users, our end users, access to those conversations. Don't overuse "I'm sorry" is the next one. Of course, if we have messed things up and if we took the site down for half a day, or if we haven't fixed a bug in GitHub Enterprise as soon as possible, we do apologize, of course. Don't overuse "I'm sorry" is more about not apologizing to your users all day long. Like if you get a feature request that you've seen hundreds of times, don't say, "I'm sorry that we're not going to do that," because usually there are very good reasons why the feature didn't end up in github.com. The fourth one is don't pretend to know everything. Instead, Be open and honest and tell your users that you simply don't know, but that you will learn and investigate or ask the right people to help you out to get the issue resolved. These days, knowing everything is just not possible, and pretty much anything is a team job these days. The last one is avoid advertising verbiage. Advertising new products in a support conversation is usually a no-no. Don't do that. You have to focus on the solution and not on pitching your new, awesome, shiny product. And it usually doesn't help anyway. We also never advertise our products as better as CVS or better as Subversion. And we also don't tell people, join GitHub, it's free. That doesn't happen. There are very good reasons to join GitHub, but that most of its features is free isn't one of them. In a nutshell, be a human and be nice. And if you can't be nice on that day, for some reason, just hand the ticket over to somebody else. Because, we all have these dark days where we're grumpy and got sick of this planet. These principles I've just told you about eventually result in happier users, better called superfans. The following example I'm going to show you is a short conversation between one of our users and Paul Betts, another GitHubber who's developing software on our native clients team. So the user asked us, totally loving what you did with the Windows client and been loyally using it since it came out. But does it really need to take 2.5 gigabytes of space? No, it doesn't. So 2 hours later, Paul responded the following. That's totally not cool and not expected. Can you tell us specifically which folders are taking up so much space? A couple minutes later, the user got back to us. As soon as I get back home, I'll send you the juicy details. That'll happen tomorrow. I must say, I'm positively surprised by your responsiveness. Thought it would take a day or two at the very least for any reply to arrive. Ultimately, we've filed that as an issue, got it fixed, and released a new version. And because Paul interacts with the code base regularly, he was able to get it fixed quickly. This is how you turn people essentially into superfans. Other examples are when we help people to fix Git repository corruptions, or when they ran into some other kind of problem with the enterprise VM. Like Joachim just tweeted, just had a major Git crisis at work. Thankfully, GitHub Enterprise Support followed up and helped us sort it out, worth every penny. And Dan said, it needs to be said again, GitHub Enterprise Support people are amazing. When you're in a pinch and need help, they deliver. There's a reason why I'm showing you that, and that's not because I love myself so much. I just can't stress enough how rewarding that is to see people tweeting in public about the support experience they've had. And that constant and, sometimes public feedback loop is one of the most rewarding aspects of support jobs. And that's also one of the things that you will enjoy the most when helping out with support from time to time. Because, right, everyone deserves a pat on the shoulder from time to time. So let's answer that question already. Why help out? Here's why. Helping out with the support results in more stable software. Long-standing bugs usually get squashed faster once a developer has seen firsthand how a bug affects the user's product experience. Like in the example with Paul and our Windows client taking up too much space. That's one of the aspects. Another one is it also provides valuable insights on different levels. So ever wondered how the product you're working on looks from the user's perspective? Helping out with support will let you find out. How's your company's reputation? Rest assured you'll learn about that too. There are also learnings to take away that have applications outside of support, like one dish in the sink at a time, so that nothing gets smashed. No, seriously. Support helps you to learn to focus on things and get them resolved. It's kind of a very simple workflow. You just take one piece, look at it, get it resolved. And when working on complex code, that usually helps you to focus on what's important and what's not. Helping out in support also acts as a great reminder whom you're actually working for. And that'll provide you with another perspective when it comes to implementing new features. Like, does it really make sense to add 10 more fields to our sign-up page so that we can get the user's address and shit? I know that's a little exaggerated, but you've probably got the gist of it. For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn them by doing them. On a completely personal level, when working in support, you're forced to constantly learn new stuff. And yeah, mainly learn them by doing. There's a user waiting for a reply. You just can't slack off. There's no way to do that. You have to read up on Unicom's internals, for instance, or further debug other things to get to the core of the issue. This can get tiresome from time to time, and that's also one of the reasons why full-time support people have to step back from answering tickets every now and then. But as a developer helping out, you will definitely love that. Ultimately, on a personal level, you will have lots and lots of opportunities to practice empathy. Empathy, the experience of understanding another person's condition from their perspective. Chad Fowler recently blogged that empathy is the most important skill you can practice. It will lead to greater success personally and professionally, and will allow you to become happier the more you practice. Support is the perfect place to level up empathy due to the many different people you're interacting with on a daily basis. And it turned me from a constantly complaining system administrator into a socializing, friendly human being. If you have any questions or want to keep in touch, feel free to add me on Twitter or shoot me an email. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope I've put your time to good use. Thank you.